Yeah, good day and thank you for joining us today. Today again we have with us an art of living expert and an officer of the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan. Today we are going to talk about the Vasu Baras of the Gau Pooja. So let's begin. So could you begin by explaining what Vasu Baras Gau Pooja is and why it is important in art of living and Vedic Dhamma Sansthan tradition? Jagadav, and thank you for joining us today. So, Vasu Baras marks the 12th lunar day or the Dwadashi of the Krishna Paksha or the waning moon of the month of Ashwin Kartik in many traditions. It is dedicated to the worship of the cow, Gaumata, as a symbol of abundance, nourishment, and the mother principle of nature. In the art of living tradition, we honor that the cow gives unconditionally milk, dung, or fertilizer and helps sustain the agroecology. By performing the Gau Puja, we recognize that sacred relationship and express gratitude. Yes, from the Vedic Sanskrit perspective, the cow is revered in our Vedic heritage as a goose panchangula or something like outside the five limbs of the sacrificer, but also our Gau Sarvasya Mata, the cow is the mother of all. The ritual of Gau Puja on Vasubaras is one of the key festivals where we reaffirm this connection, invoke auspiciousness, and also engage in Gadana or cow donation and Govardhan or cow care at our Gurukul at Shishi Gurukul at the Art of Living International Center. This day is given special emphasis to integrate spiritual, ecological, karmic, and social dimensions. Now, can you describe how this ritual is organized at the Art of Living International Center in Shishi Gurukul with the help of Vedic Dhamma Sansthan Pandits? Yes, Jagdev, at Sri Sri Gurukul, we coordinate with our resident Pandits and the team from Vedic Dhamma Sansthan to plan the event well in advance. There is an announcement for devotees and participants, the date of Vasubara's timings, often early morning or late afternoon, and location of the Gaushala or cow shelter on the campus, and the scheduled bathing the cows, decorating rangoli, special mantra chanting, arti, offering of nevedya and the food offerings for the cows, and finally redistribution of prasad. From the VDS side, we allocate a number of our trained pandits who specialize in Vedic rituals like Gau Puja. They ensure the correct invocation of mantras, the sankalpa or the vow, and havan, the fire ritual, if included, the offerings of akshat, turmeric, kumkum, and the feeding of cows with special items. A role also involves training some of the younger pandits in the Gurukul to assist so that the tradition is preserved and passed on. We ensure that the ritual stays true to the Vedic heritage while being accessible to the larger art of living community. Now, what is the significance of the cow or the Gaumata in this ritual, and how do you explain it to participants? In the Vedic worldview, the cow is regarded as Vividha Kalyana Matra, the mother of manifold good, literally a source of all auspiciousness. The phrase Gau Sarva Sukha Prada or the cow giver all happiness encapsulates this. The cow gives milk, curd, ghee, dung, urine, all considered in traditional ecology as beneficial. Moreover, the cow is symbolically the earth mother. She nurtures, feeds, and sustains. Thus, worshipping the cow on Vasubaras is a way of honoring nature, the earth, and the principle of service. We in the art of living also emphasize that spirituality is not removed from daily life. The cow is in our everyday environment, and the ritual helps us remember that the divine is present in ordinary living beings. When we decorate the cow, bathe her, feed her, offer food with the devotion, we are training ourselves in humility, gratitude, nonviolence, ahimsa, and connectedness. For participants, we explain that the cow is a living temple and the Gau Puja is an opportunity to reflect on our relationship with life, with the selfless giving, and with the environment. Now, what are the preparatory steps for the ritual from cleaning the Gaushala to organizing offerings? Preparing for the ritual is itself part of the sadhana or the spiritual practice. A few days ahead of Vasubaras, the Gaushala at Sri Sri Gurukul is cleaned thoroughly. The cows are gently bathed, the shed is swept, fresh grass and fodder arrangements made, fresh water and milk offerings set aside. Volunteers decorate the cow sheds, place rangoli outside near the entrance, set up altar spaces near the cows and cows with flowers and lamps. In addition, the pundits from the VDS prepare the ritual materials, lists of cows to be included, the Sankalpa sheet, vow form to be recited, the mantras printed or memorized, the Havan kit if used, and the utensils for offering ghee, milk, curds, sweets, coconut fruits, turmeric, kumkum. The day before, we ensure all items are ready and the participants are briefed on the sequence bathing, decorating, chanting, arti, feeding, and distribution of prasad. It's a well orchestrated yet lovingly simple sequence. The simplicity itself emphasizes sincerity. Now, could you walk us through the sequence of the ritual on the actual day at Sri Sri Gurukul? On the morning of Vasubaras, we begin this at sunrise or early morning. First, the cows are washed with clean water. Turmeric paste may be applied on their horns forehead, and some decorations like garland placed. Offerings of fresh grass, jaggery, rice, seasonal fruits are prepared. Then the participants gather near the cow shed. The pandits invoke Ganapati, then call the Sankalpa Om Sankalpa, signifying the vow to perform Gau Puja for the welfare of all beings. Mantras specific to cow worship are chanted. For example, Gau Sarvasya Mata, etc. After the mantra chanting, the arti is performed, lamp is lit near the cow, camphor may be offered, participants sing bhajans or chants dedicated to Gau Mata. Then the cow are fed the Naivedya, special foods like jaggery, rice sweetened with ghee, fruits. Participants may touch the cow's forehead or back in humility and receive blessings. Finally, prasad is distributed, sweets or grain, and participants may donate fodder, cow care materials, or contribute to the Gaushala. The day may end with a sharing circle or short talk by a master on the meaning of the ritual. Now, what mantras or prayers are considered essential in this Gau Puja and how are they explained to the attendees? There are several standard mantras in the Vedic tradition for cow worship. One key mantra is Gau Sarvasya Mata Mangalam Sarva Mangalam Gavanam Anugrahin Eva Sarvan Kalman Apayut, meaning may the cow, the mother of all, bring auspiciousness to all that is auspicious, and may we by her grace attain all desires. At the event, we also recite invocations for the cow's welfare and for the welfare of participants and well being. For attendees, we provide a short commentary. We explain that the mantra is symbolically addressed the cow as the mother or the mata of everyone, that when we treat the cow with love, we are aligning ourselves with the principle of universal nourishment. We also emphasize that chanting with attention or bhava is more important than mere repetition. We provide printed sheets with transliteration and meaning and encourage participants to attend with respectful silence. Now, how is the concept of a gadana or cow donation integrated into this ritual, especially at the Gurukul? At the Shri Shri Gurukul, the Gau Puja event is also an occasion to invite participants to support the Gaushala and its upkeep. The Gadana, that is a donation of a cow or contribution toward its care, is seen as a meritorious act. We announce that if anyone wishes, they can sponsor a cow or a part of the care. This may include fodder, veterinary care, shelter cost. The Vedic Dhammasansan emphasizes that Gadana is not just financial, but also a commitment to care and compassion. When someone donates, they are asked to take a vow or sankalpa to honor the cow as mother in daily life. We record a donation, the name of the donor, and the cow associated on the Guru's advice. We also arrange a little plaque or certificate. This makes the contribution tangible and reminds the donor of ongoing care. During the ritual, we mention these donors and pray for their welfare, thus integrating the donation into the ceremony. Now, what logistical challenges are involved in organizing such a large scale Gau Puja at a major center like the International Center? There are indeed many logistical aspects. First, the number of cows at the Gaushala may be substantial, so ensuring each gets a fresh bath, clean bedding, and decorations requires manpower and coordination. We need volunteers, scheduling, clean supplies, water supply. Next, participants may come in large numbers. We need to ensure safety around the cow sheds, seating, sound system for chanting, covering rain or sun. From the ritual side, ensuring the correct sequence, punctual timing, coordinating with kitchen for prasad, managing donations, coordinating with the telecommunications registration desk for sponsors are all non-trivial. Also, the pandemic has underlined issues of sanitization, social distancing. Though in the current year things are back to relative normal, we still take precautions, ensuring all pundits are present, all materials are prepared, contingency for cow health issues, and ensuring smooth movement of participants is vital. Now, how do you ensure that the ritual remains authentic to Vedic tradition while being inclusive and understandable to a broad audience? This is a fine balancing act. Vedic rituals has many technicalities, precise mantras, procedures, sanctified fire or havan, steps, sankalpa, and prana avyak or live breath rituals, etc. We ensure our pundits are trained and experienced, but we also simplify the explanations for the audience. We present the meaning of each step in simple language, provide translation of Sanskrit, and invite participation in a respectful. The art of living approach is to create a bridge. We keep the core ritual intact, the chanting, the offerings, the aarti, and the feeding, but we also invite volunteers to assist, give short introductory talks, distribute leaflets, and hold a post-ritual sharing circle. We emphasize intention or bhava over perfection, encouraging participants that even if they are new, their sincere presence is what matters. This makes the ritual accessible while preserving authenticity. Now, what is the symbolism of the cow translated into modern themes such as ecological awareness, sustainability, and harmony with nature? In today's world, the ritual of Gau Puja takes an additional layers of meaning. The cow is part of our ecosystem. She eats grass, produces dung, which becomes organic fertilizer, helps in regenerative agriculture, and thus supports sustainability. By revering the cow, we are also honoring the entire agroecological chain, reminding ourselves of our dependence on nature. Indeed, we in the VDS emphasize that ancient wisdom is not merely symbolic but practical. The cow's role in sustainable agriculture, biogas production, organic farming, etc., is well recognized. In our explanations to participants, we tie the ritual to the modern challenge of climate change, soil degradation, and loss of biodiversity. Thus, the Gau Puja is not only spiritual but ecological. It helps awaken in people a sense of responsibility toward life and environment. Now, could you share a memorable anecdote from a previous year's Vasu Baras ritual at the Gurukul? One year we had heavy rain just hours before the scheduled puja. Many volunteers were worried the event would be disrupted, but what happened was moving. A mother brought her little child who was very excited to see the cows being decorated. The child kept saying moo, moo, ma and ran to touch the cow's forehead. The pandit paused the mantra recitation, smiled, and invited all of us to bow down and bless the little one and the cow. That moment of childlike innocence and devotion cut across ritual formalities and made everyone reflect on simplicity. I recalled another moment. A sponsor had donated a cow as part of Gadana the previous year, but then the cow fell ill. The donor came personally with the cow, and several volunteers stayed to nurse her overnight. The next morning at the puja, the cow walked into the shed, and the donor placed the garland himself. In the arti, we prayed for health and longevity of that cow, and many participants were moved. It became a tangible expression of our vow to care, not just decorate. Now, how do you prepare participants, especially first timers, for the ritual, and what guidance do they receive? For first time participants, we provide a short orientation session just before the puja. We hand out a broad outline what will happen, bathe the cow, decorate, chanting, arti, and feeding, etiquette, remove shoes, maintain silence during mantras, avoid loud conversations, and what to bring if desired. Example, fresh jaggery, rice, grass for the cow. We also encourage them to come with a clean mind, simple heart, and respect for the animal and the ritual. We at the Art of Living also send out pre event communication. In our newsletter, we explain the significance of Asubaras, suggest that families come together, that children be involved, example, help decorate the cow. On arrival, we welcome them, arrange seating, ask them to wash hands, and then invite them into the cow shed area. We emphasize that the ritual is not a spectator event. Everyone is invited to bow, make an offering, even just a flower, receive a token prasad, and reflect on what they are receiving from nature. Now, what is the role of children and families in the ceremony, and how do you integrate them? Families are integral. We believe that rituals serve not just the individual but the family and community. On Vasubaras, we invite children to help decorate, placing flower garlands on cows, coloring rangoli outside the shed, holding small diyas or lamps during the arti. This helps them develop respect for nature and for living beings. We also encourage parents to explain to children the meaning of each step. From the VDS side, we also conduct a short storytelling session for younger children. Example, the story of Krishna bringing cows home to his father after grazing. The legend of how the cow is honored. We invite families to offer a small prasadam together, to walk around the cow or pradakshina and then feed the cow together. This makes it a shared experience and builds empathy and sacred feeling in the next generation. How is the Gaushala at the Gurukul managed year round, and how does the Vasu Baras ritual fit into that management? The Gaushala at the Sri Sri Gurukul is cared for all year. This includes feeding cows, veterinary care, cleaning shelter, and identification of indigenous breeds. The Vasu Baras ritual is a peak event in this annual cycle. It brings together community involvement, donations, and spiritual focus on the cow's welfare. We schedule maintenance tasks leading up to the event, cleaning, fodder collection, and afterwards we conduct review how many participants attended, how many donations, and how many cows sponsored, what improvements were needed. Additionally, from the VDS, we see the Gaushala as a living laboratory of Vedic culture. The cow care practices, the feeding rituals, the ecological linkages are all part of tradition. Vasubaras is the annual renewal of that commitment. After the ritual, some participants volunteer in the Gaushala in ongoing ways. Example, helping in feeding cycles, assisting with milking, cleaning. So the ritual is both a ceremonial moment and a gateway to ongoing service. Now, in your view, what inner transformation do participants experience by performing Gau Puja on Vasubaras? Spiritually, the ritual offers several levels of transformation. On the surface, the participant performs an act of worship, but deeper, he or she acknowledges dependence on nature, cultivates gratitude, and commits to compassion. The act of bowing to the cow shifts the sense of I to we, recognizing shared life. Additionally, the mantra chanting and collective arti build a vibration of peace and harmony. Practically, many participants report a sense of calm and connection after the puja. The simplicity of the ritual, the presence of the cow, a gentle living being, the sound of chants, and the freshness of the early morning all combine to quiet the mind. Some say that the sense of service or feeding a cow gives them perspective. I, as a human being, am part of a larger ecosystem. The ritual thus becomes an experiential doorway to mindfulness, non-violence, respect, and ecological awareness. How does the time of day and lunar calendar affect when Vasubaras is performed, and why? Yes, Vasubaras is determined by the lunar calendar, the 12th day of the Dwadashi of the Krishna Paksha of the month of Ashwin, or in some regions Kartik, which is the day after the 11th, that is the Ekadashi. The exact timing of the puja is chosen to align with the Muhurata or the auspicious timing of that day. At Sri Sri Gurukul, we consult our Panchang or the Vedic almanac and schedule the ritual accordingly, often early morning, just after sunrise, or in the late afternoon, depending on convenience and astrology. From the Vedic perspective, the timing matters because of the alignment of natural rhythms, moon phase, solar precession, and the time of day influences subtle energies. Doing the ritual early morning aids freshness, silence, and clarity. Late afternoon helps community participation after regular duties. We also choose a time when cows are calm, not during heat or feeding rush. The lunar Dwadashi marks a transition symbolically appropriate for the devotion offered to the cow, mother of all. Now, what are the key symbolic decorations and offerings made to the cows, and what do they symbolize? The decorations of the cows and the offerings carry rich symbolic meaning. For decoration, turmeric paste, symbol of purity and auspiciousness, may be applied to the cow's forehead and horns. Flowers and garlands represent fragrance of devotion. Horns painted or adorned represent the honoring of the cow's dignity. For offerings, fresh grass and fodder symbolize nourishment or jaggery or gur, and rice represents sweetness of life and sustenance. Milk and curd reflect nourishment. Coconut fruit, sweets for prasad express gratitude. We also prepare rangoli outside the shed and light diyas or lamps to symbolize light and knowledge, dispelling ignorance. The feeding of the cow is symbolic of the human offering. We offer to the cow in acknowledgement that we too are recipients of nature's gifts. The Aarti lamp circling the cow is like we treat her as a living deity, not because she is separate, but because we recognize divinity in all life. These symbols help participants connect emotionally and spiritually. Are there any fire rituals or havans associated with the Gau Puja? And if so, how are they integrated? Yes, many Vedic Gau Pujas, a small havan or fire offering is included. At our Gurukul event, we may have a dedicated fire pit near the cow shed or in a nearby pavilion. The fire is lit after the sankalpa and initial chanting. Ghee or clarified butter is offered into the fire along with mantras invoking deities associated with the cow and welfare of all beings. This brings the element of fire or Agni, which links the earthly and the divine. For large gatherings, we adapt the fire ritual to ensure participation. We may have one main fire where the Pandits conduct the Havan while the rest of the participants sit around in concentric half circles. We provide instructions to fold hands respectfully and chant along as the Pandits read. After the Havan, the ash or the Vibhuti may be sprinkled or given as prasad. The integration of fire gives the ritual a powerful energetic dimension beyond the visual and the symbolic. How long does the entire ritual normally take, and how do you manage timing for participants? Typically, at the Gurukul to Gau Puja on Vasu Baras lasts around 1 to 1.5 hours from start to finish, sometimes slightly longer if there is a donation event or guest talk afterwards. We schedule the concrete timings in advance. Example 6:30 am, gather 6:45 bath and decorate cows. 7:50 chanting begins. 7:35 arti, 8 feeding and pledge. 8:15 prasad distribution and 8:30 closing remarks. We manage timing by having clear rules. One team handles cow baiting and decoration. Another handles participant registrations, another handles audio and seating. The Pandit team handles the ritual. We start with a welcome talk of about 5 minutes, then move smoothly into the main ritual. Volunteers ensure that participants are in place before the mantra begins and they remind attendees quietly of the sequence. We also build in 5 minutes cushion so that if one cow is delayed, the ritual can begin without waiting too long. Timely closure is important because many participants have other commitments. Now, what kind of post ritual practices or service opportunities do you encourage participants to take on? After the Gau Puja, we encourage participants to engage in seva or self-service at the Gaushala. This can be in the form of volunteering to feed or clean the cows, donating fodder, sponsoring veterinary care, or simply offering time to walk around with the animals and observe them. We also encourage reflection, asking themselves, what will I do differently in my daily life to honor living beings? In the art of living context, we often invite participants to a short sharing circle where they talk about how they felt during the ritual, what changes they intend to make, and commit to something small. Example: reduce dairy waste, support a cow shelter, plant grass to for fodder. We may also follow up with a small email to participants, thanking them and summarizing donation totals, and inviting them to join future seasonal Gaushala visits. This helps transform the ritual into ongoing conscious living. Now, how do you measure or evaluate the impact of the Gau Puja event each year? We look at multiple dimensions: quantitatively, number of participants, number of cows decorated, amount of donations or cow sponsorships, number of volunteers involved, media communication reach; qualitatively, feedback from participants on how the ritual affected them, stories of change, testimonials. We also evaluate operationally: how smoothly did the event run, were there any delays, were resources sufficient, and how many participants stayed for a sharing circle. From the Vedic themselves side, we also track the continuation of engagement: how many participants subsequently visited the Gaushala, how many new cow sponsorships were initiated, how many pledged their long term support. We may survey participants after a month to see if the inner transformation translated into behavioral change. Example: more respect for cows, animals, more eco friendly practice. This helps us refine the process annually. Are there regional or cultural variations in how Vasu Baras is celebrated, and how do you integrate them in your center? Indeed, there are many regional variations across India. In Maharashtra, Vasu Baras is strongly associated with Diwali beginning and often includes cattle processions and community feasting. In Gujarat, cow iconography and Gadana are emphasized. In North India, the legend of Nanda Baba and Krishna with cows is invoked. At our center, we aim to honor the pan India heritage by combining a few elements. We may include Gujarati style garlanding, Marathi style rangoli, and North Indian bhajan segment. We also encourage participants from diverse states to bring their regional flavor, example Marathi folk song or Gujarati Garba after the main ritual, but we ensure it does not distract from the core Gau Puja. This brings richness and inclusivity in communication. We emphasize that while the forms vary, the essence, the reverence to cow, recognition of nature, and gratitude remains constant. Now, how do you handle the involvement of volunteers in the ritual, and what training do they receive? Volunteers are essential at the Sri Sri Gurukul event. We recruit volunteers ahead of time, often from devotees of the art of living. We assign roles: cow wash team, decoration team, participant welcome team, audiovisual team, donation registration team. Before the event, we hold a briefing session, explain timelines, the safety norms around animals, and how to assess participants politely, and how to handle cow behavior, calm approach, no loud shouting, how to clean after the event. From the VDS, we also train volunteers in the meaning of the ritual so that they can answer participant questions. Example: why is the cow being garlanded? Why is jaggery offered? And why is the cow honored like a deity? We also provide them with a small manual: do's and don'ts around cows, no stepping behind, no sudden loud noises, respect space, and how to assist in mantras if needed, handing over flower trays and offering fresh grass. Volunteers help ensure the ritual remains dignified and smooth. Are there safety and animal welfare considerations that must be taken into account? Absolutely. From the Vedic Dhammasasthan perspective, the welfare of cows is paramount. We ensure that the cows are handled gently, no excessive crowding, no loud music near them, no to the bay the water is clean and warm, not too cold if morning is cold, the decorations are non-toxic, no paint containing harmful chemicals, and the feeding is appropriate, no overfeeding of sweets. Veterinary checks are done in advance. At the Art of Living Center, we also place a signage and volunteers to ensure participants do not rush into the cow shed, climb the boundaries, or feed the cows random items. We provide fresh, clean fodder, ensure the shed is non slippery after bathing, have first aid kits, have a contingency plan in case an animal is distressed. We also brief participants about respectful behavior: no loud chatter, no intrusive selfies. The ritual is contemplative and a photo op. This preserves the dignity of the animal and the sanctity of the event. How does the ceremony connect with the wider Diwali celebrations or other festival cycles at your center? In many parts of India, Vasu Baras marks the beginning of the Diwali festival cycle. At the Sri Sri Gurukul, we schedule it as the first of several auspicious events. After Gau Puja comes Dhanteras, Narak Chaturdashi, Lakshmi Puja, and so on. So the Gau Puja sets the tone, service, gratitude, reverence for life. It gives a spiritual foundation for the rest of the festival rather than just fireworks and shopping. The Vedic Dhamma emphasizes that the ritual is both independent and integrative, independent in its meaning of cow worship and integrative in connecting with the festival rhythm. The act of caring for cows is aligned with Diwali's emphasis on light, renewal, abundance, and the transition from old to new. At the Gurukul, we do a short talk after the puja about how the light of knowledge and deep and the light of life, cow's blessings merge, thereby aligning Gau Puja with the broader Diwali theme of inner illumination and outer harmony. Now, for someone participating for the first time, what mindset or attitude would you recommend they bring? I would suggest they come with simple humility, open heart, and clear intention. Don't worry about knowing all the steps or mantras. What matters is sincere presence. Approach the cow as one would approach the divine with respect, gentleness, and gratitude. Imagine you are receiving nourishment and you are offering your own love. From the Vedic side, the attitude of seva or selfless service is important. This is not just a ritual to observe, but an act of caring. Also, the attitude of listening to the mantras, to the cow, to your own mind. Be present. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. The ritual becomes powerful when your consciousness shifts from I am separate to what we are one living whole. For even one flower offered with full attention is more potent than many offered mechanically. Now, what role does the sankalpa or the vow play in this ritual and how is it invoked? The Sankalpa is foundational. It is the conscious vow that participants make. I offer this cow puja for the welfare of cows, for the welfare of all beings, for my own purification and service. It sets the intention and connects the outer act with inner resolve. During the ritual, the Pandit asks the participants to repeat or mentally hold a Sankalpa. This is often followed by Om Sankalpa invocation. At the Gurukul, we provide participants with a short Sankalpa card in English and transliterated Sanskrit so that they can read it or listen and inwardly affirm. We emphasize that the power of the sankalpa grows when it is felt. When the person stands in front of the cow, bows, and consciously says in their heart, I dedicate this act to life, to service, to gratitude, this mindset transforms the outward ritual into an inner shift. Do you maintain any records of cow sponsorships, donor names, and how that is integrated into the ritual? Yes, we do for our Godana program tied to the Gau Puja. We maintain a database of donors who sponsor cows or contribute toward fodder, veterinary care, and shelter. During the ritual, we may read out the names of donors with their consent and invite them to offer garland or make a symbolic walk around the cow. After the event, we send an acknowledgement letter and update on how the donation is being used. The VDS side ensures that the sponsorship is not just financial but also relationship based. We assign a specific cow or group of cows to the donor and periodically send updates, a photo, health status, growth. In the ritual, we include a brief mention like, May these donors prosper and may these cows live long in good health. Thus, the spiritual event connects with concrete welfare and the donors feel part of the living tradition. How do you incorporate the chanting of Vedas or specific Vedic texts in this ritual? In our traditional framework, we include Vedic chanting such as Rudram, Vishnu Sahasranama, and cow related invocations like Gauno Vaishnava Naru. Well, at the Gau Puja, we may open with a small Veda recitation by the senior Pandit, and then the participants join bhajans or simpler chants. We also include the Katyayana shlokas or other texts that speak of the cow's greatness. For a wider participant group, we provide a balance while the Pandits chant the technical Sanskrit verses. We also lead devotional songs in local languages and invite participants to sing along. We provide translations of the Vedic lines and short commentary. This line means the cow is the bearer of our joys and sorrows. This way, the Vedic depth is preserved yet made accessible to all. Now, how is the prasad distributed and what is its significance in this ritual? After the arti and feeding of the cow, prasad, the blessed food, is distributed to participants. Typically, this may include sweets made of jaggery and rice, fruits, and sometimes a small packet of grass or fodder to feed the cow later. If they wish, the prasad is the participants' share of the blessing, symbolically what they receive when they honor the cow. From the Vedic tradition, the distribution of prasad completes the ritual. The fire ritual, the Havan offers into fire, the offering to cow, the redistribution to participants. It signifies that by offering service, we also receive grace. The prasad reminds the participants to transform the external ceremony into inner nourishment. We encourage them to eat it mindfully and reflect, how will I carry this blessing into my daily life? How do you deal with the participants who may be unfamiliar with cows or nervous around them? We understand that for some urban participants, interacting with a cow may feel like new or even intimidating, so we take a gentle approach. Before the ritual begins, volunteers show them where the cow sheds are, explain safe behavior, slow movements, no shouting, no sudden approach from behind. We encourage them to stand at a respectful distance until they feel comfortable and to observe another family doing the offering. Additionally, we have demo cows or calmer animals at the front for the first time participants to approach. We invite them to simply place a flower on the cow's back or hold grass near the muzzle without facing the animal. Once they feel relaxed, they may step forward. We brief them. You may place your hand on the cow's shoulder gently and say your own silent prayer. Safety and comfort are key. The sacredness of the moment comes from peace, not fear. Now, what are the differences, if any, between a small family level Gau Puja and the large communal one you conduct? At a small family level, the Gau Puja might involve just one cow, one household, simpler offerings, and a short mantra. The emphasis is intimate. The family expresses gratitude to their own cattle and the environment. In the large communal event, the scale is broader, multiple cows, many participants, more formalized rituals and audio systems, etc. But the core remains the same, heartfelt devotion. At the Gurukul, we attempt to retain the intimacy even in scale. We divide participants into groups, have seating near each cow, ensure each person gets near the cow so that the feeling is personal. We maintain that though it's a large event, each person's connection should feel direct. Furthermore, the communal scale helps build collective vibration. A larger field of devotion amplifies the effect, but the message is clear: even a single flower offered sincerely counts. How do you preserve the tradition for future generations through this ritual? The Vedic Sansan is committed to training young pandits and volunteers in the art of cow ritual and Vedic culture. At our Gurukul and at the ashram, we have courses in mantra chanting, cow care, Vedic heritage. The Gau Puja becomes a teaching moment. We encourage children to help in cleaning the shed, feeding the cow, performing arti under supervision. We also document the ritual via video and print so that future generations can learn. The Art of Living organization and foundation supports us by encouraging families to make this ritual a home tradition. We send home material to participants, encourage them to visit local gaushalas, sponsor a cow, and involve children. The annual repetition at the center becomes a flagship event and draws media network attention, thereby inspiring other centers in India and abroad. Through continuity and scaling, we preserve the living tradition. Are there any special music or bhajans included in the Go Puja? Yes, we include devotional music to enhance the experience. Often, right after the Aarti or during the cow feeding segment, we invite the Art of Living music team or local choir to present to sing bhajans such as Gau Mata Teri Jai or Jai Gau Mata in Hindi or songs in regional languages. These create a devotional atmosphere, helping participants immerse in the feeling. Additionally, we may include rhythmic clapping or small drums, but always low volume or respectful so as not to disturb the cows. The music bridges the Vedic chants in the participants' heart. We also play short instrumental interludes as cows are decorated so people can observe quietly. The balance between Vedic solemnity and devotional joy is important. Now, what happens in case of weather challenges, rain, heat, etc., on the day of the ritual? We make contingency plans. If it rains heavily, we may shift the ritual to a covered pavilion near the Gaushala or delay by 30 to 45 minutes. We check weather by early morning and communicate via SMS email to registered participants. If it's very hot, we schedule early morning so the cows are cooler, ensure shaded areas, extra water, and shorter overall program to avoid stress on animals and humans. From the VDS side, we ensure that if the cows are wet or cold, they are given dry bedding. The bathing may be done the previous evening or morning when the sun is up. We also keep alternate cows ready if one is unwell or location becomes unsuitable. Volunteer briefings include if conditions are unsafe, withdraw. The key is dignity and safety, not rigid adherence to times at the cost of well being. Now, can you share some feedback or testimonials from participants that reflect the impact of this ritual? One participant said, after the cow puja, I felt a deep stillness in my heart, touching the cow, offering grass, and hearing the chant. I realized I had never really honored the earth mother before. Another family said, our children helped decorate the cow. They are now more mindful about milk wastage and treating animals with respect. From our side, a donor commented, sponsoring a cow as part of Vasu Baras changed my relationship with wealth. Instead of buying a new gadget, I decided to give life. Every time I received the update and photo of the cow, I remembered a ritual. Another volunteer said the organizational side was perfect, but the moment of prayer when I looked into the cow's eye and placed a fire, I felt tears. I understand now that service is prayer. These stories motivate us. Now, how do you address skepticism or secular participants who may see the ritual as symbolic rather than spiritual? We welcome secular participants with the open arms. We explain that even if you view the ritual symbolically, there is value, gratitude, mindfulness, ecology, community. We frame the cow as symbol of life, nourishment, interdependence. We invite them to participate with an open mind and observe what happens inside. Many then report they felt subtle shifts. At Art of Living, we emphasize the universality of the experience. You don't need to subscribe to religious beliefs to benefit. Simply being present, offering a flower, watching the ritual, listening to chanting, feeding a living being, aligning your mind with something larger than self. These are universal human experiences. We also offer reflection time after the ritual so participants can share what they felt, thereby bridging spiritual and secular perspectives. How is the sustainability of the Gaushala ensured financially and operationally throughout the year? Financially, we rely on donations, cow sponsorships, membership programs, and occasional grants. At the Gau Puja event, we make a special appeal and follow up with donors. Operationally, we schedule regular care, feeding cycles, veterinary checkups, shelter maintenance, and cleaning volunteers, fodder cultivation, and recruitment of staff. We integrate the Gaushala into the Gurukul's broader ecosystem, students, volunteers, communities, so it's not separate. We also emphasize sustainability in the ecological sense. We plant fodder grasses on the site. We compost cow dung for farm use. We integrate biogas or natural fertilizer usage. Where possible, the cows become part of the ecological loop. This reduces external costs and strengthens the sense of living tradition. At Vasu Baras, we highlight these sustainability practices to so participants so they understand this is not just a one day event but a living system. Do you conduct any training for cow care or volunteer involvement after the ritual? Yes, after the ritual, we invite participants, especially those interested, for a short workshop or optional tour of the Gaushala. Meet the cows, help in feeding, learn how to clean, understand the breeds, learn how cow dung can be composted, how to plant fodder. This is held within a week of the event or as part of the Gurukul program. We also provide a Gaushala volunteer guide, digital print, that explains safe practices, basic veterinary first aid awareness, and cow behavior, understanding how to interact respectfully. We then have monthly volunteer shifts that participants can sign up for. This ensures the ritual opens the door to ongoing involvement rather than being a one time act. How do you integrate the idea of non-violence or ahimsa within this ritual context? Non-violence is central by honoring the cow. We symbolically honor all life. We emphasize gentle handling, no shouting or force, respectful behavior, and gratitude. The cow is not seen as property but as living being, friend, and mother. When participants bow, touch, or feed with care, they cultivate non-violence in their heart. From the Vedic perspective, the mantra chant itself invokes peace by serving the cow. We perform an act of nonviolence. The traditional way the katha or the stories speak of the cow as provider of life for many things, and not harming the cow is considered virtuous. We explain that while in modern times the relationship between humans and cows is complex, this ritual invites reflection. How can I reduce harm, live with more compassion, treat animals with dignity? Thus, Gau Puja becomes an enactment of ahimsa. Are there any particular cows or breeds given special focus during the event? Often, yes, in our Gaushala, we prioritize indigenous breeds such as Gir, Sahiwal, Ongol, etc., because they are traditional, hardy, and ecologically beneficial. On Vasubaras, we may highlight one or two such breeds and share their stories with participants. This Gir cow has delivered two calves and nourishes the farm. We invite participants to sponsor these specific cows, thereby preserving indigenous stock. We also ensure that the cows are treated equally in terms of care. But from event perspective, we may have a symbolic cow that leads the arti, gets first garland, and becomes the face of the event that year with photo, naming, and sponsor recognition. This draws attention and helps participants connect personally. We rotate the focus year to year so many cows get honored. Now, do you provide any printed or digital materials, leaflets, or videos for participants after the event? Yes, we produce an event booklet that includes explanation of Vasubaras, sequence of Gau Puja, mantras with transliteration and meaning, the list of sponsors, photos from the event, and suggestions for post-ritual service. We also email participants within the few days a thank you message, a photo highlights, and links to volunteer sign-ups. The videos team also records the ritual and produces a short video clip with permission for internal archival. And for those who could not attend, we share this via the Vedic Puja's website and social media so that Other centers can replicate. We also include a guide to Gaushala volunteering PDF for those who wish to get more involved. This ensures continuity of knowledge. How does the lighting of lamps or arti around the cow express a spiritual meaning? The arti or the circling the lit lamp around the cow symbolizes the circulation of light, the knowledge or the life force around the source of nourishment. The cow is treated as a locus of divine mother energy, and the lamp is the light of awareness and devotion. The act of the flame moving around the cow implies that the mind's light should encircle the source of our sustenance, not ignore it. Uh, we encourage participants to join the arti by holding a small lamp or flower, and as the flame moves around the cow, they are invited to reflect. This light signifies my own inner light, recognizing the outer truth of life. At the Gurukul during Arti, we often pause for a minute of silence after the chanting, allowing participants to absorb the moment. The combination of sensory sound, sight, touch, and contemplative pause makes the experience memorable. Now, what considerations are given to environmental impact in the ritual? For example, use of decor, water waste. Environmental sustainability and sensitivity is integral to our planning. We use natural flower garlands, no plastics, avoid synthetic color, paints on the cows, only safe natural dyes or turmeric. Use eco friendly rangoli powders, ensure water use for bathing the cows is managed with proper drainage, not wasted. We avoid disposable cups for prasad, instead use compostable or reusable tableware. We also ensure the cow dung and leftover grass are composted and used in the farm turf areas of the Gurukul rather than disposed of as waste. Decoration materials are reused when possible. During the event, we encourage participants to avoid plastics, bring their own bottles, and volunteers ensure waste segregation. In this way, the ritual itself models sustainable living not just symbolically but practically. How do you conclude the event and what closing remarks are given? After the prasad distribution, we invite a senior guru or instructor from Art of Living to give a short talk reflecting on the ritual, what we learn, how to live with the philosophy, and encouraging participants to carry the spirit forward. Then we close with a short gratitude chant and a group photograph. Volunteers are thanked, participants are invited to sign up for volunteer shifts, and we distribute information about future events. The VDS pundits then lead a final mantra and a collective shout of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, peace, peace, peace. We ensure each participant receives a token memento, example, cowtail fan or a small plant or certificate of participation. We remind participants that the ritual is not just over, we now move into ongoing service. The participants are invited to visit the Gaushala in coming days and stay connected. How do you handle donations and transparency in how the funds are used? Transparency is very important. We provide donors with an official receipt on the day or electronically. Post event, we send a breakdown of how the donations collected that day will be used. Example, number of cows sponsored, veterinarian costs covered, fodder cost, maintenance of shed, volunteers expenses. We publish an annual report on our website at the Vedic Sun with photos and narratives. At the Art of Living Center, we also hold a donors information meeting optional and send out emails summarizing the impact deck, how many cows were benefited, how many participants engaged, how many volunteer hours recorded. This builds trust and encourages recurring support. We emphasize that the ritual is not a fundraiser only, but an invitation to partnership in the living tradition. Over the years, how has the Gau Puja event evolved at your center? Over the past decade, the event has grown from a modest gathering within the Gaushala to a major institutional celebration with hundreds of participants, multimedia support, formal registration, donation management, and national outreach. We have improved logistics, trained volunteers better, used technology, online registration, live streaming for remote supporters, and refined the participant experience, orientation, sharing circle, and follow ups. From the Vedic Dhammasana side, we have increased the integration of the ritual with the broader ecological and educational themes. We now hold a short eco workshop post ritual. We have introduced cow breed awareness sessions, a post event volunteer onboarding for Gaushala service. Also, the quality of the ritual, the mantras, the decorations, the offerings has been standardized and documented so that the authenticity is maintained even as scale increases. Now, what do you envision for the future of the Gau Puja at the Gurukul and beyond? Looking ahead, we hope to expand, perhaps invite international participants, including virtual attendees, create a Go Puja toolkit so that local centers can replicate, build partnerships with eco farming institutions, and make the Gaushala a center for sustainable agriculture and cow care training. We envision the ritual becoming more than once a year, maybe a quarterly maintenance ceremony, From the art of living perspective, we want to integrate the ritual into the global network. Centers in other countries could hold their own Gau Puja adapted locally on the same lunar day, share photos, streams, create a sense of global collective. We also want to create digital modules for children online about cow care, invite corporate volunteering in the Gaushala, tie the ritual more deeply with environmental initiatives, planting fodder grasses, organic gardens. The ritual thus becomes part of a living and growing tradition. Are there any common misunderstandings or myths about Vasu Baras and Gau Puja you wish to clarify? Yes, one common misunderstanding is that it's only for rural people or only about cows. In fact, it's for all people and about all life. Any another myth is that if you don't give expensive things, you have not done it right. We emphasize that sincerity matters more than material. From our side, we also clarify that Gau Puja is not cow worship in a simplistic way. It's reverence for the principle of nourishment, of giving, of nature's support. Some may think it's only ritualistic. Yes, it is ritual, but it is meant to transform the inner attitude. We often say whether you hold a small flower or a large garland, what counts is the devotion behind it. We encourage participants not to worry about perfection, but to participate with heart. In closing, what message would you like to give to all those considering participating in this year's Vasu Baras Gau Puja? My message is this is your invitation to reconnect with nature, with gratitude, and with your own heart. When you stand before the cow, you are not just looking at an animal, you are acknowledging the silent service of millions of beings, the unseen labor of nature, the interconnectedness of life. Offer a flower a moment of attention, and your inner shift will begin. I would add, come with openness, bring your family, bring your children. Let the ritual be simple, joyful, and reverent. Let it not just be a visit, but a commitment. How will I live differently after today? May you leave the event carrying the blessing of Gaumata, the blessing of abundance, humility, peace, and service. We look forward to sharing this sacred moment with you, Jagrudev.